Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dota 2 Grand Finals here at IESF Seoul 2019. I'm Rapid back here with Aqued. We have just finished game number 1. We're about ready to jump into game number 2. What impressed you the most, Aqua, about that first game in our series?
I mean, that was a back-and-forth exciting game, but at the same time, I must notice that small detail during the laning phase, the Swedish team had, like harassing the Razor with Beastmaster and swapping Razor lane towards the more favorable one to the off lane. But at the same time, that did not propel the Swedish squad into like more of a huge snowbally start. It did prevent Team Thailand from reaching their more optimized start, I say. So apparently that small dent in their plan bought them enough time eventually to have even team fights and a monster Slark in the end.
It's about time for draft for game number 2. Getting right into it. Sweden, of course, up top on the Radiant. Dire is Thailand. This is S4 plus Godsent versus RRQ. Trust, if you want to look at it that way. But of course, more importantly, representing their countries here for all that national pride makes a big difference. So let's see if we see any adjustments in these drafts after one game. I don't think Sweden is going to change too much. They seem to have pretty much locked down what they do not want to play against. So it'll be interesting to see if they change anything now.
I mean, they don't really have to change what isn't broken. At the same time, the pick order is the same as before, so they can still first pick IO if they do choose to do so. Well, that is if Team Thailand does not ban it out. EGM IO was a treat to see back in TI3. Still top tier as we just seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was such a pleasure to watch. Just good Dota. So good. On the other side, I don't think Thailand really has anything to ban out specifically. Maybe the puck, like you said, or
there's Razor ban.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That did sort of deal with the Slark. I say sort of because I mean,
it was a good counter, except for the one limitation that was Razor's HP. Razor, can go into the thick of the fight, drain all the Slark's damage, but it gets just melted away. Especially from the Desolator puck coming from Cheshi. Cheshi showing up with his unique playstyle of these heroes again. And this puck, it had rapid fire Dream Coil for a while. But the addition of the phase shift auto attack really made it easier to farm with auto attacks. He would just hit the creeps a couple times and then phase shift to finish them off and blink away.
Choosing to ban Tiny instead of IO is still an interesting choice. Won't see that this time. And it's clear that Tiny has been a big asset to the Thai team, but the Doom pick on S4 is just so iconic. And I mean, I don't know if we're going to see Deathstroke added like we did in the group stage, but still just a really signature pick here for this Svenska stack.
Yeah, you gotta ban Grimstroke out. EO Doom. I mean, we saw how S4 Doom was really scary during the group stages, and yeah, that Doom has returned, but you cannot give Grimstroke along with it. That'd be too much.
Yeah, I was like, how deep do you want to go on this, right? There's the puck ban we were talking about, so no more creativity from Chessie, making sure that he maybe stays a little bit less impactful than he did there.
Yeah, he'll figure something out, I say. So let's
He's thinking to himself, it's like, which hero am I going to buy a Desolator on this time? Gotta find one of them. I don't know. We didn't see Weaver bans earlier, so maybe, I don't know. I'm just wishful thinking on my part. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Invoker ban coming out, and Nagasarian banned out. And they still have Grimstroke opened up, but Viper is out. But perhaps as an inhibitor to the Templar Assassin pick, the Cheshire could go Desolator on.
I mean, I think we've seen more Viper bans than we have TA bans, but I think TA has by far been the more impactful hero this tournament for sure. Faceless first pick is something interesting we talked about earlier too. We didn't mention, but definitely kind of a holdover from previous patches. Now maybe not quite so strong with the Ags nerf to his ult.
Yeah, but we've seen Team Thailand first pick it before. So
well, that's right. I forgot that we watched that draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Void has fallen in terms of its carry potential. It's just that its utility has been limited from insanely broken to like, okay, you can't use that ultimate every minute anymore.
Yeah,
just can't.
I mean, You can if you simultaneously play 2 games of Dota and then you ult in one game and then 60 seconds later you then ult in the next game and then you have a 60-second cooldown, but you're not in one game.
Anyways, not anymore.
I
Not
can't
now.
believe you wouldn't
Not in
specify
this
that.
game.
Okay, anyway, Witch Doctor, again, a hallmark of the early game for our Swedish stack because it is just impossible to shut this guy down. I think we've seen 3-0 Witch Doctors in 5 minutes in 2 out of 4 of our Swedish games that we've cast, so definitely a power pick there, but certainly a comfort pick as well.
Yes, very comfort pick. And at the same time, Lich has returned to the Team Thailand side as well. So we're seeing that rivalry back again, but there's Tidehunter coming in. So Tidehunter faces Void Viper. Lane dominating into team fight oriented spells, but at the same time, Team Thailand cores are really tight to this long ultimate cooldowns. You have like 145 seconds on the Chronosphere, or like about as long on the Ravage.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, you can't go refresher on these heroes. I mean, Tidehunter can, but Void has better items to go
Oh,
for.
for sure. I mean, if you're building a refresher on your Void, it's like, well, what did you build? What didn't you build to get this?
Yeah,
that you probably needed.
About the lesson economics, there's a thing called the opportunity cost.
Oh, yeah.
Entire team back.
Finally, I can put my econometrics degree to work. I'm like, time to teach the kids about these curves, man.
And comes Slark. And Slark is going to have even better time during the laning phase.
Yeah.
'cause,
No razor.
I mean, Slark can counter both Void and Tidehunter during the laning phase. I mean,
Yeah.
Void can kind of man fight Slark in the early stages, but Tidehunter, you know, this
10
small fish,
seconds
it's
remaining.
big fish.
For
This is
sure.
how it goes in Dota.
5 seconds remaining.
Which fish is going to come out on top here? I mean, look, it's clear that Thailand want to like have all their ults up and just win the fight, right? And then win the game afterwards. That's kind of what Sweden did in the last game, right? They won the fight, they won the game, right? But obviously getting to that point is a little bit more complicated. So the finesse about this final pick, I'm not sure exactly what we're looking for just yet. Although I will say it's just absolutely a super scary draft here from Sweden already.
I mean, this Tidehunter force pick is something that's really bugging a side of my head, I'd say.
Okay.
Because there's a definite counter out in the form of Doom. And then Slark, IO Slark was something that they just lost to. And it should be, I don't know, something that they have to keep, they have to be reminded of constantly. But at the same time, they pick a hero that can be countered by it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a hero that you would pick when you can also use your eyes to see the enemy team's draft. But sometimes it's so iconic that it's used for a purpose that's too valuable, even in the face of a hero that can do well against it.
But I think these are definitely comfort picks to some degree. And I mean, even though they probably suffer a bit during the laning phase and perhaps gets countered a bit, when they actually use their Ravage, when they actually use their Chronospheres, that's when they're unbeatable. And Sweden will definitely have to respect that and play around that. So about Team Thailand, I want to see how they work, how they make this laning phase work.
Yeah, the lane assignments are going to be super important, not only just for the early game, but because if you let the Slark get out of control again, like you said, like Thailand already know what to expect from that, and it doesn't look good. So something to keep an eye on for sure. So I mean, there is that final pick. I don't know what super Slark counters there are. I mean, obviously it's nothing like incredibly direct. OD ban.
More counters to the Void. And perhaps, even lane against Viper. I mean, nobody actually can take an even lane against Viper these days.
Yeah, he's just so dominant. But
Even his more buff to his poison attack. Although Nether Toxin has been nerfed, his laning ability is through the roof these days.
I was going to say, like, oh no, you can't flash farm
10
anymore, but
seconds
by the way,
remaining.
you can just click
you
the guy
can
down.
just kill the guy in your lane. You don't really have
5
to
seconds
jungle anymore
remaining.
because
Like, wow, what a nerf, you can't kill the neutral minions. But by the way, when it comes to killing heroes, Viper's still pretty good.
Remember that
Radiant team
Swiss format game where
and
TA was picked against Viper?
Oh,
And
that's
she was
right.
like, okay, I'm gonna go
Just
jungle for a
couldn't
minute
lane.
too.
Kunkka is
yeah.
a final pick here for Swiss stack is going to be a very powerful way to round that out for sure. And I mean, I guess
Timberstone band, it's just there. It's something that you have to kind of accept that Swedish team is gonna ban out. eventually.
We are just never going to see a Timbersaw
10
ever again.
seconds
Although I
remaining.
will say they didn't ban Huskar this time, so...
I mean, Huskar was there
5
just
seconds
a, like
remaining.
strategic ban, but at this point we know the Timbersaw, they hate it with passion. It's
oh,
like,
yeah.
there's Tidehunter, Viper, Void. There's no way to fit in Timbersaw, but ban it anyways.
That's right.
They kill Timbersaw kills trees, so
That's true. They're very
None of that.
environmentally friendly.
yes.
Final pick coming in here for our Thai squad. It's
Enigma.
Enigma.
So ultimates galore. That's a lot of big ultimates, a lot of eye candies, but how will they make it work?
I was gonna say if you, so we're gonna go into practice mode, right? We're gonna set up all 5 heroes for Sweden in one tiny little area, and we're gonna take all of our Thai heroes and give them ultimates, and then we're just gonna like press all of the buttons on that one spot and then win the game, right?
We don't have to press a lot of buttons. We just gotta press R.
Yeah.
Press R, win game. So it's mid Viper and offlane Enigma by MyPro.
What an interesting way to see our draft transpire. That Enigma is an Enigma still to me, but I mean, it's going to function effectively in that role initially, but at the same time, we've got some big questions to answer. One, S4 Doom, just so godlike in the previous games. We've seen him so scary. How do you shut that down before he shuts you down by just dooming you into, well, Doom? And then the other answer is, how do you stop this Slark, which just had such a strong early game in Game 1 for Sweden and then consequently just dominated later on.
Yeah, Charlie DOTA casually walking around with like 200 edgy bonus to his stats, you know.
Pretty scary, but let's get into our second game of this grand finals. Sweden looking to close it out right here and now, and of course Thailand looking to bring it to a deciding game number 3. Both teams have fought their way all the way here to the finals of our SEOUL 2019 IESF DOTA Championship, and now we have a small pause to add to the epicness before we get into our game.
Yes, but at the same time, see, when I see S4 on heroes like Doom, I am really excited to some degree because if you see S4 with his calm demeanor and all that,
That's true.
and his plays like Beast Smash from the last game, he really plays. He can play very sacrificially for the team. He always takes all the smoke ganks from the enemy. He gets vision set up so his team can make all the team decisions correctly.
Yeah. He was playing Brewmaster earlier, and he definitely did that. He was like,
Yep.
all right, I'll volunteer to die here. I'll buy the smokes, and I'll, take one for the team.
But at the same time, when he gets hands on these heroes
Ooh.
like Doom, now we see the other side of that nice guy, Mr. S4.
No, I like to think that young Gustav has all of this like pent-up rage from every game. He just feeds so super hard. He stores that up, and then he's all right, guys. Pick me, Io. Get me into that lane. We are going to town. So maybe this will be another one of those games.
That he has saved up all his death from the last game, all the sacrifice he made for the team. Now team has to pay it back to him.
He was like, all right, Chessie was the
30
cool
seconds
guy
to
last time. Maybe every once in a while you'll see a different player go off. But this time, I think it's S4's turn to kind of show him why he's the addition to this God-sent roster.
But at the same time, I think Team Thailand made a bit of a smart decision while picking the Tidehunter. They picked Tidehunter, kind of pull out the Slark as a counter. They actually, maybe they even lured Slark pick into it. And then from the Slark pick, they put Tidehunter as a support role. So the main counter isn't as effective. And then they pick another offlaner that is Enigma. But
Well,
Tigger coming in, S4 instead of getting first blood, he gets first blooded this time to the carry.
I mean, S4 did get the rune, so maybe a Pyrrhic victory. Nonetheless,
Yeah, he died for the global gold, for the team gold, I guess. But yeah, try lane top to secure a lot of
Going on
farm for
EGM.
Void.
I was trying to right-click him down. I don't know if that's a worthwhile endeavor, but certainly zoning them off the way.
But yeah, 2 support heroes, one of them. And another Gush coming in from the Mango. Boombell with the nuke takes EGM out. That's a lot of nukes, a lot of Mango spent. But, early game kills, aside from the first blood, aren't as valuable. Like the S4 EGM combo did made Team Thailand support use a lot of items, but third death might be a bit too much.
So you remember when we were opening this game and we were talking about how sometimes there are those games where S4 kind of feeds a little bit?
But yeah, this is a Team Thailand with Gush and Frostblast coming in.
Okay.
And Enigma getting... Wait, which side is it on? Wait, he went through the woods. Gets...
Yeah, but then there's the leash under the turret.
And
Couple
Charlie
more
just
hits.
dives. No,
Charlie!
yes. Nah. That one Malefice saves him from the certain death.
Don't dive me, Charlie. It's a magical turret dive, Charlie. Couldn't make it happen there, but again, we're seeing so much pressure from Boombell and Tigger up top. S4, when will this man have his revenge?
And Lich actually hitting level 2. I mean, level 1 hero kills doesn't give as nearly as much EXP anymore, but still, that was a lot of death.
Gush.
And level 2
You with
Lich
the
getting
right clicks. S4, get out of this lane.
EGM doing his best to save his friend, but it's not happening. Team Thailand being dominant from this tri-lane.
I mean, look, they are investing a lot, right? It is a tri-lane. S4 is right back at it again. And how many mangoes does it take? 1, 2, I think we've seen...
We saw like at least
3?
Like, I don't know, let's just say like 10 mangoes used. And Cheshi is going toe-to-toe to Viper, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty
no, actually,
impressive.
there's a lot of networks difference.
That is true. That's right. All right. Hey, S4, how's it going?
Level 2, but still pressured.
Somehow he did get level 2. I'm pretty impressed by that.
I mean, they did go near the creep wave a bit. But yeah, this Thailander being turned into support, really throwing Sweden off guard. And I mean, 1 kill advantage already in minute 3 is... these kills are stacking up a bit. And so
Ooh,
body
MyPro.
blocking MyPro.
It's going for the teleport
Is there a
there.
pounce? Yes.
Yeah,
Pounce
Charlie's
coming
just
in.
going to leash him down, and that should do it.
Body block is the best disable in this game.
So at least finally a kill coming back the other way.
Never felt more shapely.
Charlie styling, but MyPro returning that tip. And 1-5, first kill on the board for the Sweden.
Has S4 been dead more than he's been alive? It's close.
Yeah, for about 30 more seconds, might be.
Okay, yeah.
Or we should say, was he off the lane more than he was on the off lane?
That's actually a much better way to put it. All right, so they found S4. Now what do? How hard are they going to try to kill this guy? Even with IO support, that's the other thing. Still making it happen.
But still now, IO's level 2. They have... And Zip coming in to get that Fearless who's diving mid.
He's going for a little bit of a questionable dive there. Winds up
I mean,
aborting the mission.
it was going to be a kill until that Witch Doctor rotated in. Time dilation coming in early.
Going on EGM this time, and now S4 is the appetizer. Ooh, this is not going well for the Swedish top lane.
But S4, that gave him the vision for the Frost Blast.
The
and
Boombell killing spree. Finally, we were talking about this little back and forth between Zibby and Boombell. Zibby's
But
always
here comes the Witch Doctor.
He's got a lot of that damage onto the Tide. Tigger ticking down. Zibby, though, he's taking some right clicks right back. Time walk in and going down. Last hit from EGM. But, oh, he has the tether broken.
And EGM gets time locked to death. Cheshi goes back to the fountain to heal. A lot of kills coming from the Team Thailand side, and for the 5-minute run, I'd say it's going to be 2-2 maybe. S4 takes 1, Charlie takes 1, none coming from the Team Thailand yet. But yeah, a lot of kills. 4-0-5 for this Lich, but S4 diving him a bit. And 4-0-4 for the Void. Like 8 assists on this Tidehunter. Level 2.
Those right clicks start to tick down.
This is a...
Sometimes it be that like that.
In Dota, when you start dying, you kinda can't stop. It's one of the things that you really...
Yeah. Dota is like the Pringles can of MOBA. It's like once you pop, you just can't stop. For S4, I mean, obviously the game is not over. It's not only about the early game. There's still quite a big investment in shutting him down that much. But I mean, Doom is going to be able to hit that R button as well later on. So if there's anybody that can come back with their resilience, it's S4.
Yes, at the same time, it puts a lot of pressure on the Slark as well. Not that he's having a bad time right now, but he's gotta literally carry the game from the mid game. can't be that late game insurance anymore. He's gotta kind of take one for the team.
Radiant's middle tower
Well, he's taking
is
a few
under
for the team
attack.
this time around. But interesting to see what the reaction is going to be here from S4. Look at that. There's four mangoes on Lich up top. Boombell knows what his job is.
Yep, a lot of mangoes. Yeah, I say a fistful of mangoes, but the gang from Witch Doctor coming in, as always, even with his pinpoint early ganks. And even the Viper can't fall to the Maledict. It's a good spell.
Yeah, Maledict absolutely massive right
Charlie
there.
coming
Now,
in for
finding
another
Boombell. There's the
stack
leash.
of agility.
And
Lich.
there he goes. Yeah, Charlie on a rampage now. I love that. Like they're just saying, okay, S4, just take your time up top lane, and then Charlie farms it out, and now is on a warpath. One support after another, after another.
And now they send Charlie towards a Q's lane, but Void already has his ultimate, and Void ultimate is one of the counters to the Slark. EGM is staying in the back to save him, but Chronosphere, that was a patient Chronosphere, but can I take out Slark? Just taking out the IO, but you know, kill is a kill. Good
Yeah.
Chronosphere.
I mean, there was like a 1v1 plus tower, so not going to go too deep for that. But yeah, nice Chronosphere, although like we said earlier, those cooldowns are going to be much higher than they were in the past, and now Charlie coming back.
Yeah, without Chronosphere,
Radiant's
Void
top tower
has to be
is under
aware
attack.
of the Slark just stealing that EXP one by one in the laning phase. 4-11 in the 8 minutes, but Team Thailand, the thing about Dota and how Dota 2 evolved with the addition of GPM stats
Right.
being built into replay is that it's a lot more
Radiant's
gold-centric
middle tower
aside
is
from
under
kill-centric
attack.
from the old Dota 1 days. So I think one of the pioneers of the Dota is actually Alliance back in the days. So I don't think they'd be too phased by that, but Slark dying is definitely a loss to them.
Yeah, if there's anybody that knows about that, it'd be S4. But for sure, yes, losing Slark there, I'm like, I mean, he was the real answer to the tragedy that's been going on up top for Sweden. Comes up there, it actually does okay, but then winds up going down. I'm like, that's a little bit of a struggle. Ooh, mango tree for Thai.
It's always a question of choice. It's like, do you really want to send Slark towards the top just so that he can tank the hardest lane? Or do you want him to farm while the other heroes die for a bit to, you know, have him secure the late game? But here comes the Cheshire rotation. So they double down on the top lane, rotating Cheshire in along with Slark. Slark didn't get that edge from Void, but does get that agility from Lich again.
Ton of gold from that Void takedown, and that's finally, you're starting to see the reaction from Sweden saying, wait a second, something's been going on up here, and the reaction is very, very strong. I mean, it does give Viper a little bit of a free mid lane after having a rough time getting ganked multiple times earlier on. So
Yeah, but then Viper's gonna have a free lane, even if there's a enemy or not. Comes a torrent, connects, and deathward immediately. So Viper's just gonna
Trade
try
one for
to-
one.
Yeah. Gives his life for the mid lane. This is a good trade because more kills to the Cheshire, more gold and experience to the Cheshire.
Dire's top
And
tower
I mean,
is
Cheshire has
under
been the one that has been the quietly farming force of the Sweden.
Right.
Team Sweden right now. So he's got to carry with like a big item coming in at like 10 or 12 minute mark.
Radiant's bottom tower
And Void
is under
rotates
attack.
bottom and pressuring the bottom tower.
Dire's
Viper
top
backs
tower
up a
is under
bit.
attack.
You know, they're looking for that black hole opportunity along with the Chronosphere that's back up.
as for farming from the trees. While meanwhile, let's see, we had Outpost controlled by Thailand, right? Yeah.
Yep, tier 1 taken out along with the outpost captured, a classic example from Sweden on the top, and on the bottom, same from Team Thailand.
Is under attack.
Taking it down, easy
Radiant's
peasy,
bottom tower
and
has
you know,
fallen.
once again, we're just seeing Charlie with a nice free lane to himself, now taking over that top side of the map from S4.
I would like to see some more items on Slark, but
Dire's middle tower
the
is
situation
under attack.
would not allow for that, I think. So he's gonna get his drums and then fight as much as possible. They're gonna bring out with some sacrifice, some loss, Team Thailand's big ultimates, and then okay, there's one team lost, one black hole.
Oh, how much do they hate this guy?
Well, I mean, they definitely don't want S4 to have a good game. But on the top, number 6, Ravage spent, but Tigger's on the really low HP. Maledict's still, at the work. Chronosphere.
Catches two, certainly gonna
Death Sword is also in the Chronosphere. It doesn't do anything. Charlie, Kenny back away. Good. So losing trading one support for the another. And I mean, Doom dying in the jungle is just okay. He tanked Black Hole. That's okay. We don't have to worry about Black Hole for the next 2 minutes.
I mean, same thing with like Ravage used up top and Chain Frost is, I mean, a little bit lesser extent, but still, the idea is that for this tight team, they are their ults for the most part. So definitely something to keep in mind because now Charlie, nothing to stop this guy.
Yeah, Team Sweden, while I mean they do have big ultimate in form of Doom. But other than that, they're not really tied to any long ultimates. And Witch Doctor just casually walks in, trying to kill all this.
One hit.
Just casually walking in and killing couriers.
I mean, look, whatever works. Zibby kind of, he wants to hit that courier so bad.
That courier is baiting so bad right now. But damage has already been done. And Relocate gangs kills off Black Hole. I mean, Enigma without Black Hole.
What a god.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Witch Doctor really making it work this game. And here comes the gank on Lich. Another free agility. Lich doesn't have his Chain Frost back on. Chain Frost also a spell for how simple it is. Kinda has a long cooldown.
Yeah.
S4 trying to make that gank work on the Viper
Nice
as well.
Viper TP.
Yeah, Viper TP's out. Feels that vibe, my support gets killed, my Enigma gets killed on the bottom.
Wait a second.
Next might be me. That's really
Yeah.
good map awareness coming from Fearless. And
Shadow.
Viper is as much as a good laning phase it had, it's not really transitioning well into mid game. Viper is one of those heroes that you get like a couple deaths on him and the game is already a bit tough. One of the reasons why Viper needs stellar laning phase is that you can't really flash farm. You're kind of slow to catch heroes out unless without help of your allies. So Viper really needs to be a force to be reckoned with from the get-go in the laning phase. But now Viper has about like 2 or 3 deaths to his name now, I think.
Yeah, well, he got ganked a lot in the mid lane and was either overextended or just kind of vulnerable to that X marks the spot catch. But you're right, he didn't have the dominant lane phase that we expected from him. So
I mean, Cheshire kind of sidestepped it. It's like, okay, you can poison attack me all you want. I'm just gonna step away from the bed, step away from you from the bed, and it's ready inside Kunkka, so you can farm these jungles on the left and right, literally farming left and right, And then there's a broom handle, pretty good pickup for probably Slark, I guess. And haste on Charlie. Slark is still prowling about, but Team Thailand is getting their ultimates back on CD now, so that's something Team Sweden has to be worrying about, I guess.
See where Charlie decides to go. Just farming up for now. Neither team really looking to pick a fight. Just perfectly split out there. Although somewhere there's an S4 that's way too alive for Thailand's taste. So
Yes,
let's
S4
see how they
has
fix that.
finally been alive for longer than 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, he has 7 more levels than I expected him to have.
Yeah, but he also had 7 deaths.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Okay.
0-7-1. I mean, it's something any offlaner has to deal with at some point in their career. So I'm not too phased about it. There's outpost. Catching out. No, that's a questionable Chronosphere. Catching out only 1, and I think Team Sweden is satisfied with trading Chronosphere to the IO. I mean, it's still a kill to Void, but still, Chronosphere used on a single support is always a bit regrettable. But still, taking that outpost for the 50-minute mark, worth it. Imp Claw dropping for Viper. I think this is a good item on both Viper and the Void. I say Void a little bit more. And Team Sweden, IO back alive. They got their ultimates. Shadowblade on Kunkka.
That's complete too.
There he's going for Tigger. A lot of damage, but that was a mid-to damage for the Kraken Shell to proc. Ravage hitting on 2. EGM just came back alive. Will he die again?
Yes. Not looking good. There's the fear. Yeah, more than enough damage to take him out.
Time dilation will definitely help with the cooldown, I think. So that's a rotation, a lot of rotation, and a Ravage used on EGM. EGM is taking all this big ultimate by himself, and that torrent missing a bit. Cheshi backing out. Can't
Dire's
really get
top
caught by
tower is
like
under
one
attack.
poison attack. Otherwise, he'd be, well, instantly
Radiant structures
be
are
killed.
fortified.
Ghost Ship is on cooldown.
Yeah, just gonna
And
go
they're
for the
just
torrent
going
catch.
There's a frost shield. Doom coming on Enigma. No black hole until that's over. Coming up with the centaur stun as well. Lich down, Viper down. That's for doing a lot of work. Sweden makes it work with S4 coming back.
Look,
huge.
absolutely. Look, that was a long time coming. He took 16.5 minutes of total pain and agony.
Dire's middle
Walks
tower
in,
is under
beautiful Doom. He's like, wait a second, you're relying on your big ults and you don't have 2 of them. So the third ult you just now can't use. Beautifully played there, man. S4, how do you shut this guy down?
I mean, if you look at it this way, this S4 EGM duo that has died so many times offline from the beginning, but see what they did for that one team fight. EGM died bottom for Chronosphere, EGM died mid for Ravage, and then the last big ultimate, that is Black Hole, gets doomed out by S4.
Nice.
Beautiful play by this old
Dire's top
Alliance.
tower is under attack.
And
Players.
how the tides of battle have turned, or at least the tides of the XP and gold graphs.
I mean, it makes you really think about this.
Radiant's
There's
bottom
all
tower
these
is under
calculations
attack.
coming out from Team Credit. They know what spell is down. They know what the enemy is capable of, and they actually like they try to like pull these spells out.
I mean, look, they're doing an excellent job of it now. Charlie already going high ground. A little ahead of schedule there, my friend. So he's just going to TP back out to, strangely, farm more than...
I mean, Charlie's telling his
17
team, he's like,
minutes.
I feel strong already, you know?
And his team's like, Charlie, it's 18 minutes.
We're like 20 minutes a bit too early for that.
They've got some work to do.
Yeah, but Ayo already with the mechanism. Mechanism feels a lot easier to complete these days. And Essence Ring. So that's a lot of HP for his team, a lot of HP for himself and his tethered partner.
Yeah.
So EZM, saving lives and, you know, taking enemy ultimates out as well. Yeah. Single solo, Chronosphere, Ravage, EZM doing work. I mean, he always was a smart guy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely an asset to pretty much every team he's been on. This time around, if he's tanking these ults, it's like, well, I die, then I might take one for the team there for sure.
I mean, in a way, you kind of feel that okay, S4 taking that Chronosphere out. But it's, again, single hero Chronosphere. You want these spells. I mean, you can expand these big teamfight spells for one big important kills. But at the time, at the time of like 19 minutes towards going into like 20 minutes, you want the teamfight spells to be used during the teamfight.
I mean, we're talking about how maybe Void can be a counter to this Slark pick that's been so strong, but I don't think we've seen Slark Chronosphere once so far. Frost Shield's not going to help you out there.
And I really like the
pretty dead.
Slark using night vision to their advantage. You see Sweden doing really well. One of the things that they did really well from the last game is its vision control. And Slark having more night vision than the enemy, really you know, giving that intel that, you know, their heroes are bottom, like 3 heroes bottom, so they go on Lich in the mid. And Viper Strike on Slark. But Slark does have his ultimate up. Just man fighting, and here comes the Doom on Enigma again. No black hole for you.
Yeah, and now Enigma, Void, I guess Void dead, yeah, for sure. Viper now follow.
Void can only run away while his team gets decimated.
This is so crazy. I mean, you know, there's different win conditions in Dota, right? And it depends on what you consider true victory, right? For some teams, it's the victory screen at the end. For other teams, it's the first 10 minutes of the game. So in some way, Thailand has already won this game by being absolute jerks for the first 10 minutes to S4 and EGM. Now maybe that's their true victory. So they've already won their victory condition. Now it's time for Sweden to win their victory condition, which is just so happens is killing everyone and everything in the game.
Yes, and they're dodging all these big ultimates really, really intelligently. And I can't really describe it any better than these players are doing it right now.
Big brain plays, for
Yeah,
sure.
like not just 200, it's like 2,000 IQ. Like add 3 more zeros to it, because we're in Korea.
We've transcended IQ.
Yes.
This is EQ, effective quotient, or electronic quotient, because these are e-gamers, right? So
Esports, EQ.
that's right.
Yes.
It's your esports quotient. It's how esports you are. They're pretty esports right now.
And
Here goes
comes
Charlie
the small
again.
fish.
Small fish
Ravage
versus
down,
big fish.
Diffuser coming in. Small fish eating the big fish, but there's Lich behind, and
Okay.
they let Tigger go for now. You know, you gotta learn how to let these fishes go for
I was
bigger
gonna say,
fisheries in the future.
That's true. They're going to go into the big fishery in the sky.
Yep.
Finally, Viper alive and not dying. It's the first time I've seen that on my
think
screen for a
about this
while.
Viper, it's been shut down so hard mid-game. I mean, it
Yeah.
transitioned well into Vessel and Foot's Travel, but ever since then, it has really stolen farm,
Mhm.
you know, getting deaths instead of kills. It's less than
Yeah.
S4's GPM, and S4 still has more death than Viper.
Wow, that's quite the sentence to say. Oh, man. Wow. A little bit of a breather here. We've already hit 40 kills in 20 minutes, so, you know, that kind of game. But it's just exciting to see that Sweden is making such a strong statement here. Yeah,
Viper strike coming in, or here comes the Vessel.
Okay, well, wow. Zibby's just going to take down there. Viper coming back a little bit. Okay.
That's one more kill to the Viper. I mean, it's really important to get important for Viper to get kills right now. Not just for the number, but because of his Spirit Vessel. Like last time I saw his Spirit Vessel had 1 charge left. Used that on the Witch Doctor. If that Witch Doctor didn't die, his vessel would have been empty, and you know, you kind of want the charges on the vessel, and only way to get him is to kill the enemy heroes.
I was going to say that's kind of like the entire point, but you're right. He does manage to fill that up a little bit more.
And Chesh's doing. Chesh has been like the most quiet hero in the game, but at the same time most effective. He farmed against Viper, farmed the jungle, got his Shadow Blade first instead of Radiance, and has been active in kind of turning the tide. That has been a bit ugly for Sweden in the first 10 minutes. And then now he's transitioning into this Radiance, tanky frontliner that Sweden kind of needs. So somebody else can still tank the ultimate. They're not gonna. I mean, Team Thailand is also very smart, so they're not gonna expand their ultimates on like EGM or like Witch Doctor anymore. But if you give them a delicious treat like a Kunkka, they kind of want to use Ravage. He's Tidehunter. You want to ulti Kunkka. Even Void kind of want to chrono him, but even in chrono, the Radiance is going to have him miss a bit. So really good item decisions, really good positioning. So Chesh is doing a lot of work. That Mango Tree is doing a lot of work as well. Gotta be careful not to tether around it though.
So both of our teams decided we wanted a little bit of a breather here, but during our brief repose, we've seen some crazy goodbyes coming in. You saw the BKB picked up there, and now even S4 is starting to get a bunch of big items.
Yeah, about 1.3k, 1.4k away from it. But S4 has we would say, like completely recovered from his early death.
Yes.
I mean, he has been contributing effectively to the team fights, but that's just S4. That's what we expect of him. I mean, I say the hardest thing about being S4, I imagine would be, at any point of the game, at any conditions, people would expect you to perform. But think about this guy, he has always met that expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't matter if he dies 8 times in 8 minutes. He's coming back in a big way. And actually, after all is said and done, probably the reason for our little ceasefire here is that Thailand probably not quite ready to fight Sweden at this point. They've had their moments where they were, exerting their power in the top lane, but now they've got to find a way to cast a black hole ever. Hasn't happened.
And even before casting those ultimates, can you bring out a fight? Can you set up a fight where all 5 of you are there without wasting your time?
Point.
And bring out all 5 of the enemies at the same place?
That's a lot to ask.
So, I mean, setting up the fight is the first step of it, but Team Thailand is getting having a hard time getting there.
Yeah, how do you make that happen? Well, hopefully there's an answer. Otherwise, we're just going to see a 2-0 Swedish victory. And it's hard not to look at the big names of the Western Dota and see the Swedish stack, and then you look at some of the bigger names of C Dota on Thailand.
Yeah, I mean they're really the old guards of the Southeast Asian, and you saw that they gave out really even performance on the game 1.
Yeah.
But with a bit more radical draft on game 2, they're really having a hard time finding the right team fight setups. And this setup is not just on their side. They gotta bring out Swedish squad to their battleground of their choosing somehow. We don't know how, but they gotta bring them out and cast those ultimates. And you see this Konka just taking out waves.
Like 12 Eidolons. I'm like, okay. I guess that's one way to do it.
I mean, the thing about like setting up a perfect team fight is pressuring the towers so that enemy comes in as a team to protect it. But when you have Konka just running around, X-marking himself from the safe area, and here comes Chronosphere, as always. Doom on Viper. Now that's a right opportunity for the Black
Hole! Absolutely gigantic. Thailand finding the fight that they need. Q going deep for S4, now getting tethered, pulled back, leash, the death ward,
is
the
down,
damage
Time
is
walks
good.
away, but Charlie's on his tail.
Low on mana, there's the X-Mark pulling him back into the torrent down, and what a fight in the end. Thailand find the damage.
Gets caught out. Konka bought back, but can Sweden give more to this Slark? This Slark is hungry.
Oh my god, little fish becoming a pretty big fish right now.
Hungry Slark. Wicked sick.
I mean, I didn't need to see that come up on the screen to know he was wicked sick. He is absolutely killing it. Now, it is Roshan. Chessie not even scared. Knows he's got Charlie right there to help him take it down. What a huge win there. I mean, that was about the best fight Thailand could have hoped for, right?
Yeah, they saw Konka going back to his X mark. So they start off with Chrono, and Enigma was staying back with Dagger. So, I mean, Doom had to doom somebody before he goes down, right? So he dooms Viper, but right then comes Black Hole. But Chessie with his buyback and his Black Hole getting cancelled. So you need BKB on top of Dagger now. But at the same time, by then, now Doom is going to be, keeping his eye on this Enigma for Doom. And S4 catching Tigger out. That's another
How about
fish
some stacks?
Oh, well, that's good.
What?
4 staff. But Charlie haven't used Pounce yet.
Well, the other thing is that S4's aura will kill him in the trees eventually. So
Eventually, but then, Charlie goes in for the sweet agility.
that's right. Now you're fish food. I'm like, okay, nice.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we gotta wonder if Charlie likes... we gotta wonder if Charlie likes fish more or the watermelon more. Because Thailanders both, but we don't know if he's eating Thailander for the watermelon part or the fish part. And goes in right as this Viper comes in for the casual nether toxin. But look at S4, he was ready for that. He was calculating that somebody is going to come here and put some wave clear to it.
More and more damage being done. That's top tower half health, 2/3 health.
And I mean, Sweden backs away for now, but they know that Team Thailand doesn't have their ultimates up for like at least good minute as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do have Ravage up, and Chrono just came back up. But the thing about Team Thailand is that they do want to chain all their ultimates together. They don't want to use Ravage here, Chronosphere there. I mean, if it gets them a good fight, sure, why not? But they do want to optimize their team fight, and their whole draft is about getting this big
Ravage used on
Black
Doom,
Hole
time walk
done.
in.
And Doom on the Chronosphere hasn't been used yet, so Doom on the Void is really critical. No buyback on the Void.
Yeah, no, Void going down here, and even Viper getting X-Marked back into a torrent will be his untimely demise. And it looks like Sweden are going all
Viper
the
buys back.
way.
EGM, Maxim. EGM should have Tether, I think. Yep, Tether's back to safety. But it's Konka, Black Hole, but is there stun? There is the cast Black King bar used by Chessie. Beyond godlike coming up from Charlie's
They're
double
not taking
kill.
no for an answer. Death Ward.
Zimit takes it. That's where it takes 1 kill at least. No triple kill, but a lot of buybacks coming from Thailand. And they cannot go for tier 3 because there's tier 2 towers still there.
I was going to say,
Tier
like,
3.
they literally cannot kill the towers because they haven't, finished the order of operations yet. But
yeah, it's not how it goes. You gotta get tier 2, then 3. 1, 2, 3, not 3, 2, 1.
doesn't Eye of Scotty that Charlie just bought actually look like Slark? The item itself actually looks like Slark's item in game, or icon in game.
I mean, we cannot see the other side of Spark's face, so maybe that's where his eye went.
Maybe that's where the Eye of Scotty is.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure there's lore behind that, but I haven't read that yet.
Yeah, let's just call it
Uh-oh.
Slark at this point. So they know that there's no Ravage. They know that there's Chronosphere. Void is back. Chronosphere on the back though, going for the Kunkka. Kunkka doesn't have buyback. So
Stun. Oh my
But EGM
dog,
coming
what?
with the save! Oh my god, EGM IO!
What a monster. Another X mark onto this poor big fish. He's gonna look a little smaller there as the small one takes him down. Charlie, just absolutely monstrous. Someone kill him.
Chronosphere used by Team Thailand, but only death coming from Team Thailand side. MyPro doesn't know what to do, going straight for the jugular, tier 4, without hitting the racks.
I feel like they're skipping some steps here, Aqua.
No, but this is steps that they can actually skip. You know, sometimes you just gotta go right for the win, but Viper coming back in 5 seconds. MyPro coming in, and S4 is just trying to get this
getting
Q
some
guy
revenge
away,
for
but
sure.
Relocate coming in, Q just runs away, and Stark just
Yeah.
goes back with the, you know, you gotta escort your creeps. This is where creeps become the most important. And 2 supports down for more, like 20 more seconds, and yeah, Team Thailand still has a lot to deal with because they can take lane of Rex, I think. Because they know that Chronosphere has been used just now. Black Hole is not gonna come back for at least another minute. And Ravage is back, but Tidehunter isn't.
That's true. He's got the cooldown, he just can't use it.
Yeah, my ultimate's back, guys, but you know, I'm still kind of on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Wait a bit for me.
So 2 lanes of racks down and a 20k net worth lead. Look, we've seen Thailand and Philippines and other teams hang on through some insurmountable odds, but maybe not this time.
I mean, we've seen the Team Thailand game 1 drafting really in a stable manner. Very, very organized. But at the same time, on the second game, they go for this big ultimates. It's like go big or go home, you know. So this is very understandable draft, and they pick to their strength, I think, because they have some beautiful team fight coming from game 1.
Right.
But
right.
Team Sweden does not want to play to Team Thailand's fiddle.
I mean, it's a hard question to answer, right? It's like, what do you focus on? Do you focus on your teamwork, which has been a huge strength for our RQ Trust this game or this entire tournament, or do you try to go for something a little bit more well-rounded? And game 1 was actually pretty well-rounded. They went toe-to-toe against the Swedish stack, but game 2, they all in on some big ultimates, took some big risks, and it's not paying off anymore.
And I guess it kind of explains all the Naga bans, you know, now that we have Tidehunter and Slark in the game. These fishes, they are, the fishes might be the strongest heroes in the game. Naga gets banned all the time.
That's
You see
true.
Charlie DOTA making Slark look so strong from game 1 to game 2. And now Charlie DOTA is just in the front lines without impunity. The only lane that's left is the bottom lane, and they smoke up for it. But they're waiting on the top. Chronosphere on the 3 heroes, but
Three-man
Charlie DOTA
Chronosphere.
is still alive. And Ravage instantly dispelled using the Dark Pact, but Black Hole coming in.
Catches 2, even
But
in a BKB.
S4 is alive because EGM buys back to save him.
Charlie, even he on the backside was looking a little bit the worse for wear, but can't take some tiny fish down beyond godlike.
So now we've come to a point where they can land all their ultimates, but there's just not enough damage. You need more damage on top of your ultimates, but not anymore.
Doom on the void, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Fate is sealed and doomed, and so is the same for the Ancients.
Yeah, GG's moments away from coming out.
Just can't call it. Oh my god, 1 hit to the glitch. Flash down.
This is a highlight reel for Sweden. GG's finally coming out as the RRQ Trust Thai roster taps out, and Sweden will be your Dota 2 champions of IESF SEOUL 2019.
You know, I mean, Sweden made it look really easy, but Team Thailand, they were really organized.
Look at that S4 stretch.
Just the stretch of that was like 10 deaths only. Deal with it.
Business as usual.
But yeah, Team Thailand really had great showing. They really showed us like the highest caliber of team play, the communication, organization. Team Sweden pulling out with the Slark, but that first game could have gone anywhere. And like the game 2, they tried to bring out these big guns, Black Hole, Ravage, Chronosphere, but Team Sweden outsmarted them again, outmaneuver this use of visions, maneuvers, the team fight is great, but everything that's building up to the team fight is also a very important part of Dota and, to the path of victory.
Well, there's a look at Gustav Magnussen.
Son of Magnus without a Magnus pick.
That's true. I was actually looking forward to that so I could make those low-hanging fruit memes, but it's actually just so impressive to watch.
Nah, none of that for you.
Such an impressive player, and of course, such an impressive team play. And you could really see every individual member really delivering. And even though it kind of felt like S4 was delivering himself to Thailand over and over again in that top lane in that second game, in the end, you saw he had the last laugh for sure.
It was space creation from the minute zero.
Space creation, that's what we're calling it.
Yep.
Yeah. An incredible performance from Sweden and the Swedish Esports Federation that they were representing here today. So congratulations to them. And that's actually not just a victory to them for Dota 2, but it's also going to make it even more likely that they'll take home the overall victory, which of course is worth about $10,000 as well. So looks like we have a final recap of all of the games that we have seen and played here today. And there is what our playoffs looked like. Sweden narrowly overturning the undefeated Philippines and advancing on 2-0 over Thailand to be the grand champion of Dota 2.
I mean, well-deserved victory. They pulled out of the group stages 4-1 score, losing one to the Team Philippines. But they had their vengeance during the semifinals. And today they had really strong showing. I think they showed everything that Dota can offer today. And Team Thailand, definitely a good opponent to test that skills on. And I think they did both their countries very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see them representing here. Of course, second place, nothing to scoff at there for Thailand.
Yep.
Very high placement there. And of course, congratulations to our third place team, Finland, who you saw down there in that bronze medal match, claiming that victory too. So we will have medal ceremonies, of course, coming up a little bit later on. But that's going to do it for our Dota 2 coverage. It's been just an absolute pleasure to watch so many countries from around the world play Dota I didn't know existed. But in the end, it's proven that Swedish Dota is still pretty strong.
Yeah, it's really good to see all these countries and all these players that are a bit underrepresented in the pro Dota scene. But now, we get this opportunity called IESF to see them from all around the world. And it's such a treat.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope everybody out there watching had a lot of fun watching our different teams and players from all around the world, from maybe countries that you couldn't find on a map. Well, maybe we've helped you enjoy that a little bit more. So on behalf of myself, Aqua, and all of us here at the IESF SEOUL 2019 Dota 2 Championship, thank you so much for watching. Stick around because we'll have the conclusion of our other esports coming up in just a few moments. So thank you for watching. We'll see you then.